In this video, I want to try and break down what might be the root cause behind you just not losing weight, and the real mindset shift that completely changed how I look at weight loss. It was this idea, more than anything else, I think, that changed weight loss from a constant battle of having to think about to more of a lifestyle that could kind of run a bit more on autopilot in the back of my mind. Let's go, friend. Okay, so let's start from the basics here and work our way up. We need to know about calories first of all. So a calorie is just a unit of energy. Energy is what our body needs to power itself and to keep going. Without energy, we're gonna die. It's as simple as that. So we need energy to keep going. And each of us is going to have a particular amount of energy, a particular number of calories that we're going to require on a daily basis to power whatever we're doing, to power our brain and our heart and our organs and lungs and our movement and everything else that our body needs to do. So let's draw this out. This is our number of calories, cal. So for an average woman, roughly, she's likely to burn a total of 2,000 calories in one 24-hour period. So this is 2,000. And this is what's known as our total daily energy expenditure, or it's sometimes abbreviated to TDEE. This is the amount of calories that we're going to require on a certain day. And this will change depending on how much exercise we do, for instance. Now, this sort of old school, but correct, ultimately correct, but pretty old school way of thinking about weight loss or weight gain says the following. If we eat more calories than we're burning in a given day, so let's say we eat 2,500, we've eaten 500 more calories than we needed. So our body's going to store that as fat and we're going to gain weight. In contrast, if we only eat, let's say, 1,400 calories, now we've got a deficit of 600 calories. We've eaten 600 fewer calories than our body needed. So to make up that difference, the body still needs it, so it's going to have to get it from somewhere. It's going to use our internal fat reserves and burn that for energy. And so we're going to lose weight because the body's had to use our own body weight to make up that extra 600 difference. So this is correct and it makes sense, but it's not how most of us eat on a day-to-day basis. It's not how most of us think. Unless you're counting the calories of everything you're eating, which you can do, although there's a huge margin of error, but okay, you can do it, but it takes you kind of weighing and measuring every single thing that you put in your mouth to do it kind of anywhere close to accurately. Almost no one is going to actually eat like that. So I want to show you a different way of thinking about this that's far more applicable to real life and far better at allowing us to lose weight or maintain weight loss or even gain weight if that's a goal in a controlled and sustainable way. And so this approach is going to rely on a different metric, something a little bit more nuanced than just calories. It's going to be called calorie density. So what is calorie density? This is going to be the calories in a given weight of food. Now we're getting to something that's more relatable, right? Because we don't just eat calories. We eat food, and food contains calories, okay? So because this is going to relate to a specific weight of food, let's use 1 pound of food, 1 lb, 1 pound of food as our metric. We could choose a kilogram or 100 grams or whatever, but let's just say 1 pound. And this is actually sensible to do because people tend to eat a similar weight of food on a daily basis, but the number of calories they eat can change quite dramatically. the weight tends to be more consistent from day to day. And this is what gives this its power. So let's draw another chart here. On this axis, we're going to have the calories per pound of food. And here, we're going to have different foods. So let me take you through perhaps a typical day or morning to show you how this might go. We start the day, let's just say we have a black coffee. Well, black coffee has 0 calories in a pound of coffee, so that's just going to be 0. Then, let's say we have an apple. An apple has maybe in the ballpark of 300 calories per pound of apple. I don't know the exact figures here, but you don't really need to. You just need to know the ballpark. Let's say then at lunchtime, you have some pasta. Well, pasta is going to come in at around about 600 calories per pound once it's cooked. Pasta is going to have double the amount of calories in the same weight of food as apple does. Then let's say in the afternoon, you decide to have a chocolate bar, have a little snack. Each pound of chocolate is going to have around about 2,500 calories in it. So you can see, even just with these 4 different foods I've chosen, you're going to have huge variances between them in the calorie density. All right, so let's run with this example. Let's imagine on this day, you eat 1 pound of each of these 4 foods, and that's all you eat for the day. It will be an unusual day, granted, but let's run with that for this example. We can then ask, what would be the average calorie density of everything we've eaten that day? So taking the average of a pound of coffee with 0 calories, a pound of apple with 300, a pound of pasta with 600, and a pound of chocolate with 2,500 calories in it, what would be the average calorie density of everything we ate over the day? And it turns out that in that instance comes about here at 850 calories. 850 calories per pound is the average calorie density that we've eaten throughout that day. However, our TDEE, our total daily energy expenditure, is probably going to track more closely to around about this level, around about 600 calories per pound. If we'd eaten foods and the average 600 calories per pound throughout that whole day, we wouldn't either gain or lose weight, we'd just meet our calorie requirements. But as it is, because of all this chocolate, even though the other 3 foods that we had are all way below that 850 level, because the chocolate's so much higher, we actually have this 250 calorie excess for the day. So on this day, we would be perhaps gaining a little bit of weight. But the story doesn't end here, because we don't only eat for one day, right? We eat day after day after day. So this time, let's look at an entire week of eating. So in this, we need to be looking at the average calorie density. So what is our average calorie density? This is the calorie density of everything we eat averaged over a given time period. For example, one day. This average calorie density is then going to give us a more true reflection of whether we're likely to gain or lose weight than any individual food that we have on that day. So let's plot this graph. On the vertical axis, we've got average calorie density, and this is going to be on a daily basis. On the horizontal axis, we've got days of the week. Let's say this is a full week. Our last example, where we had that 850 calorie day, that's going to be Monday. Now let's see what would happen in this hypothetical scenario over the rest of the week. So let's look at the rest of the days. let's say on Tuesday, after having all that chocolate, we end up deciding that we're going to have lots of salads and that kind of thing. So on that day, our average calorie density might be quite low. Let's say 350. The next day, a little bit higher. Let's go 700. And so on throughout the week. Maybe 900 on Thursday. Friday night, a big night out. 1100. Saturday, 300. And Sunday, 400. Now we can say, well, what was the average calorie density of everything we ate over that entire week? So when we average out the average calorie density of all of these days over the entire week, it comes out around about here, at about 650 calories per pound. And remember, we said that to maintain weight in this example, we're probably at around about the 600 calories per pound mark. So in this instance, we'd more or less be maintaining our weight over this week, possibly a very slight gain. Even though on any given day, it's been changing quite dramatically. Now, over 1 week, we're not really going to get meaningful results about weight gain or weight loss. I mean, even just kind of water weight and that kind of thing can shift the scale by a couple of pounds quite easily. But once we extend this over a longer period of time, let's say 3 months, then we're starting to see some really applicable and interesting results. Let's have a look at that. So this is the crucial insight. When we think about the average calorie density of the foods we're eating and time, our own lives and our own dietary pattern, we're going to get an interesting result. So let's say this is the line for weight maintenance. Maybe it's 600 calories per pound-ish, but it could be different depending on each person, but it'll be in that ballpark. Maybe we start the year, for example, in January and we're being really healthy. So we end up coming down here. But then we get stressed out and it comes up a bit higher. Maybe it stays higher, but then we get healthy again and it stays down here. As long as we keep it on average below that line, like it is in this example, we've got sometimes above that, but most of the time it's below. And so this means this person is going to be losing weight. This is the critical insight. Our weight is essentially a lagging measure, a representation on our own bodies of the average calorie density of the foods that we've been eating over the last weeks, months, years. Let me say that again. Our weight, the amount of fat that we're carrying, is a lagging measure of our past dietary patterns over the previous weeks and months and years. If we've had consistently our average calorie density of the foods we've been eating, we've been having lots of junk foods, lots of meat, lots of chocolate and chips, consistently a lot higher than what we need, and it's staying up here, this is probably going to be a person at the end of this time period that's carrying quite a lot of extra body fat. Conversely, if someone is keeping their average calorie density below that line, this is a person that's going to have lost quite a lot of weight and their body's going to show it. So I would suggest to you, rather than thinking about the calories in, calories out on any given day, instead consider what is the average calorie density of the foods I'm putting in my mouth. Things like chocolates, French fries and junk food, and nuts and seeds even, and oil and butter. Those things are really going to push that line up because they're so calorie dense. Whereas vegetables and fruits in particular are really going to pull the line down because there's so much water and fiber in them, which doesn't have any calories, that per pound of food, their calorie content is very, very low. So I hope that this concept helps you better think about weight gain and weight loss in a way that's more useful. If you want to lose weight, You want to keep the average calorie density over time of whatever you eat below a certain threshold, which is probably going to be in that sort of 550, 600 calories per pound ballpark. So I really hope this concept helps you think about weight loss in a different way. And this breakthrough of thinking of your weight, the amount of fat that you're carrying on your body, really being a sort of lagging measure of what you've eaten, your dietary pattern over a certain period of time. That's a really critical thing. You could eat any individual food, a small portion on any day, and it's not really going to change your weight. It's what you do day after day after day to make your dietary pattern over weeks and months and years that's really going to determine your body weight. And focusing on keeping that average calorie density lower is going to make your weight loss journey or your weight maintenance really something that becomes a lot more simple and easy to stick to. Now friend, I really appreciate you spending your precious time with me today, and I'd like to offer you a gift for doing so. These are my top 5 biggest nutrition mistakes to avoid on a vegan diet. These are the kind of things that people sometimes make these mistakes a bit unknowingly, but they can really hold us back from achieving health and vitality, including weight loss, on a vegan diet. Now, if that sounds interesting to you, you can get that guide totally for free. Please click on the link in the description below. It's all yours. I've been Dr. Ryan Williams, your host and the founder of Growing Pure, where I help you achieve health and vitality through delicious vegan food. Now, if you've enjoyed this video and you've gotten value from it, then I think you'll also get a lot of value from a video I did all about why diets are a waste of time. If that sounds interesting to you, you can click right here to watch that. Friend, I want to thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next video.